Yes, hi. You just caught me in the middle of doing some very important preparatory work. I swear, it's not a joke. It kind of sounds like it a little bit, but realistically, so does everything I say. So, what else is new? It's not just picking up the items. I just have a problem. I can't leave them on the ground. It's a compulsion. I see the little pixel doodads. I think Chansey spawns in this cave, which is what I'm looking for. Although we do also have a lot of Doug Trio and Sneasel. I found a shiny Sneasel in here once. And there's another one of the pinch stat berries for people who like those. I think the only way to tell the time of day in Area 0, by the way, is judging by which of the versions of Lycanroc you find just roaming around. Which is a choice, alright. And not what I'm prepared to call a good one. For Richarath makes a bit of a gross noise in addition to everything else when it enters the battle. Too many I mean, is that really a thing that can happen? Is too many? There's a couple that I ended up missing that make me a little bit sad. Maybe one day I'll pull that open and go shiny hunt some more again. I haven't done that in a minute. But I think I've got a reasonable chunk of the Pokemon that I kind of like that ended up being shiny. Well, I guess I can fight this thing. It probably can't take one crunch. Or if it can, it can't take two. And since the worm is not a dragon type, well, it doesn't take double damage from that, so, yep. I gotta prevent this evolution one more time. I apologize. New party member, who will have very specific uses when we actually get to what my target goal here is today. Damn, that's quite a few. Yeah, I have what I think is almost a full just living dex in general in Violet, with the exception of Koraidon and a couple of which would probably be the other the Gen 2 beasts that are in the Paradox Gen 2 beasts, I think. Anyway, this thing's pink and round, so it's basically Chansey, right? It's got to be worth nowhere near that much experience. Good of it to use rest at full HP. Oh, it's surprisingly got a lot of endurance to itself. Wow. It's gonna need 3 hits, huh? Or more if it decides to rest. But I guess it's just taking neutral damage from that. There we go. That's what I wanted, was to be able to teach this Pokemon Spore. Because that, of course, is the most important thing that Breloom can learn. Well, pretty nearly, anyway. Oh, and there was a shiny stone basically right underneath us. Neat. Now, of course, as I believe I've alluded to, Breloom has two of the most important things that you can possibly have on a singular Pokemon, which are that it can get False Swipe and it can get Spore, which we just got. False Swipe, I have to give it via TM. But that makes this a very good Pokemon for capturing other Pokemon with. I just have to remember where False Swipe is in the set here. Or I have to go and buy one from Sheen, which is actually probably the more likely occurrence at this point. Try going through this a little bit slower. Yeah, no, I definitely have to go and get that from a machine. That's fine, though. We can do that. Obviously, there's, like, one in every town. That part hasn't changed. Do I not have access to this yet? What? So that's odd. I'll have to go check how to do that real quick. Oh, I have to go talk to Jacques to get it. Okay. Gotcha. No, that's fair, actually. That kind of makes sense. For it to be tied to capture rewards. Oh, hold up. We gotta go over here to go find folks, right? Before we take any of the classes. Alright, Jack. Whatever your name is. I mean, probably not, but say yes anyway. Yeah, I've heard this before. Yeah, I've gotten to 30 already, right? Yep. Yay, we got some TM57. Next item up is at 100. That's quite a leap, but I think the total Pokedex is 400. So maybe that's kind of sensible-ish. Sensible-ish, you know. Yeah, I remember that there's at least some overlap in between the DLCs. I couldn't remember if they were, and that's overlap with the main game, to be sure. I wasn't sure how many it was offhand, because I haven't looked at that in a minute. And I only have the DLC in Violet, so I can't really go look without getting up and switching cartridges. So I believe the important one for us to take here are the history classes to unlock this. As we go and talk to Ryford. Oh, well, funny story. We've already been in there. Also, there's the Legends Arceus Pokeball making a bit of a cameo appearance. Because I can't remember. I can't look. Well, there was something down there, but... Well, probably not a Snorlax, but a Pokemon of a sort. Because I believe the implication is supposed to be that they thought Terapagos was down there, which, well, is sort of what the case was in the DLC. I don't remember. Roundy, how's it going? Hope you're having a good evening. Hope everyone's doing well and all the usual of that nature. You check your... Very possibly, but I don't know that I've ever really paid attention to that, to be honest with you. I guess I can take a look next time I go over there. It's about 2,000, right? Said, yep. That's right. I was gonna say the Europeans existed in Europe for but that's not clear. That's not true. Probably. They call it that back then, too? I mean... Wait a sec, 200 years or 800 years ago, but it was 2,000 years... Well, I guess they goofed off for 1,000 years. The phrase that I missed or forgot because reasons. What, even with the computers? Exactly 805. I mean, yes, I suppose that is very much the case. The technology in the Pokemon universe definitely does not necessarily line up with things that are realistic. So my expectations should not be... I don't know if I should have any expectation. Ah, there's 8 classes then, I guess, of each. If there's a midterm after 4, or I guess it's 10. Well, regardless. Rather sensibly, this one class is advanced this far, and yet the other ones have not. Funnily enough, that's the one that I think was not even directly said in... Regardless. Well... Hooray! We got some more experience candies. S. I guess the ordering on those words is going to be a little bit weird. Also, I clearly did a dumb. That was at a midterm after 3 lessons, which would still make for 4 sessions that we have to go into. I just thought it was 4 for some reason, I guess. Yes, so that'll be why the Treasures of Ruin are themed around very Chinese artifacts, right? Or they're extremely Chinese-sounding names, anyway. Well, I mean... I understand it. I was going to be like medicine, but I guess if they're supposed to be styled as being very ancient, that wouldn't exactly fit. It'd fit better than being electronics, but because whatever solid oral medicine there was, well... I don't know a ton about the history of medicine, but the only thing I can think of is the antimony pill, which was a thing from the Victorian era, where it was just a solid chunk of antimony metal that basically you would swallow it and you would shit it out. And the idea was supposed to be that it would cleanse your body of... It's basically kind of like chelation today, except with a hard chunk instead of the way they usually do chelating agents. Which, by the way, that's not a great idea. Do not insert heavy metals into your body. of a non-musical variety. Anyway, that's yes, that's a really dumb joke, but at this point, any long-term viewer of mine probably is expecting just as much. Well, I mean, we did get there eventually, and just naming it the Area Zero Expedition, that's a little bit generic, isn't it? Heath, huh? That doesn't seem like a name that specifically fits, thematically, I don't think, but... Yeah, we're almost done with this part, and that should unlock the Treasures of Ruin side quest proper. We could have started pulling the nails as soon as we found them, but I kind of didn't want to do that because I'm going to pull up a map for it. So that way I know where all of them are. Oh, you know, I found something down there that it would be interesting to you, maybe. Yeah, interesting story about that. Because we're allowed to answer Clavel, who is not, well, not that kind of professor. And now, lastly, come over here, we take the exam. And then we should be able to find her. I think she's out here in the lobby, but I could be wrong. Oh, hey, we just had that one earlier. It was a folding fan. No, the fourth treasure was a sword. Yep, see, I absolutely paid attention to that one. Just saying things. Alright, so if I go look at the list of classes, yeah, you can see that the history class is disappeared. Oh, she's in the staff room, isn't she? Dude, where is she? She's in the back. Yeah. Because I believe I have to talk to her again to, like, get these flight locations or something. I mean, both of them are pretty cool, so... She does have a bit of a, like, slightly sinister air to her at times. Do I have to go through the whole, like, branch of talking to her for... No, she's down at the front now. Okay. At least should be. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, this is where I remember her being. Alright, what's the... What's the deal with this? Ah, I see. Ah, I mean, it's distinctly possible. Keep going with it. Woodmaster. Okay, it's 8. I thought it was 10 for some reason, but on some level, I feel like a Pokemon game, maybe it is more likely for it to be 8 than 10. I mean, sure, and then we'll cram them into Pokeballs, which are theoretically even more confined. And we get one of the worst looking photographs I've ever seen. Oh, just a little bit. And there we go. It is time for us to actually be able to do stuff with the Treasures of Ruin. At least in theory. Now, the interactive map that I was looking for before is not where I last saw it. So instead, thankfully, Cerebi has screenshots of these locations on a map, which is at least not what I was using before. But okay, fine. That'll do. That'll do, pig. Oh, I have to actually go to these places in order to get them as proper flight locations. However, they are tagged on the map. This is not the islet in question. We'll go south for that. Which is always great for me to be looking at this thing and go cardinal directions because I'll forget. Oh, is that just a wild Avalugg hanging out in the water? I can't say as I've ever really seen that happen before. Well, interesting. Of course, this thing is probably going to take a couple of hits, and we actually are not in the greatest of health right now compared to, well, compared to where we could be, huh? And of course, because we're out at Castle Royale Lake, where all of the lag in the known universe is located, localized entirely within our kitchen, as it were. Yeah, so Gauss can do some work over here. Get some more experience. Ooh. That is extremely fast moving, that fish, considering that it's probably not going to get a chance to actually attack me this fight. Because it would probably be a pretty good idea to get Luigi some levels here. Yes, I did name my Breloom Luigi. Just in the off chance that anybody's, like, fuddled by this turn of events or something. I would say if you know, you know, but of course you know. Everybody gets it. It's not a secret. Although if anyone gets mad at me for it, well, you're kind of a chump. What can I say? It's a stronger word, I guess. I didn't think there was anything up here, but I just wanted to check anyway. Just in case there's a couple of items. Careful we don't bump into the tiny little Tatsugiri, because they're very easy to miss. And when you do, you'll feel real stupid. Fish just noom and then turns around. Thanks, game. Turn around. Came to an abrupt halt. Alright. Why not, I guess. Oh, cool. I don't really need that as a TM, but hey, why not, right? We got all three of the Tatsugiri types up here. I guess they had to have them all in one place. So somewhere here. And that thing after Dondozo. Not quite a whale Pokemon, but definitely sort of looks the part. Hey, a wild Dragonair. You don't see a lot of those. Oh, gross. Dreadnought and Choodle. I don't like looking at those guys. Well, Dreadnought is fine. Choodle, however. Not a favorite Pokemon, we'll say that. Excuse me. Oh. I thought that was just an item sparkle. Whoops. Whatever, a Thunderbolt should still cook it anyway. Yeah, but 21 level advantage, it's fine. Everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. No, I still have never seen Eraserhead. I should change that at some point. There's a lot of movies I've never seen, actually. Although I think everybody knows that by now, because... Wow, me being a complete... Who would have guessed? Alright. Yep, pull our second pin on this one finally. World's most complicated grenade here. Okay, so that's like right over there, huh? Yeah, the order these are listed in is not particularly the most conducive to a straight path. I would have to... I guess I'd have to look up what would be the fastest path to get all of them if I wanted that. But I don't mind spending a little extra time. I generally, don't dislike this game. It's fun to just sort of, like, relax with this a little bit. Sort of chill, wander around. Look at that goofy mushroom Pokemon every once in a while. Watch Sudowoodo just absolutely start darting in a really comical manner. Okay, no, the shrine is in the middle of... That's a pretty wide chunk of land, actually. Much more than I thought. Nevertheless, off we go. Slacking and accidentally bump into the goofy mushroom. Ooh, ouch. It's level 56. It probably should have real moves, but still. I was not expecting that. Ooh. And yes, here's the spot. You can see 3 stakes nailing it in. I forget if the like big pins are taken out in sort of a dynamic manner. So like if I were to have seen this while it was only at if I didn't have any of the stakes pulled, it would have 4. Or once we get down to only 2 on the overworld, there'll only be like 1 thing holding it in. I think that might be the case, but there's a part of me that says it is. And this is the sort of game where I would just be like, what the hell were your priorities? And it turns out that it'd be something like that. So it's not a true impossibility. I just do not remember. So, off we go. Oh no, that's just a Spidops. I was like, what is that green thing? Are there any green Pokemon that spawn? And of course there are, because for some reason this area spawns Spidops. I'm not convinced I understand why, but hey. Here we are. We got some Beartic and the baby one, Cubchoo, over here. Yeah, there's a pretty good chunk of bugs that spawn over there. Some pretty interesting ones. I'm just kind of surprised about Spidops very specifically, because it's just such a high level area, and it is like, are you gonna really need that to fulfill a role there? No, I'm just kind of surprised that Spidops is the thing that spawns in the little forest area over there. Where's the... There's the pin. Okay. Pull that out, and it makes a sword noise, kind of. I mean, I guess it's just any sort of It's just sort of a pulling anything out of ground kind of noise, but hold up. What's this location compared to? Okay, I see where it is. It's that little inlet there. I'll scroll over it in a second. Right about here. This is right around where I saw a Swablu, a shiny Swablu in a friend's game, and I basically grabbed it right in front of him. I'm pretty sure I used a quick ball on it too, which made him very upset because it looks so, because it's such a questionable looking ball in terms of like the color not matching a lot of Pokemon. And I mean, hey, sometimes functionality, but yeah, I could have done better. As I look over it, the yellow balls and my options are like Ultra Ball, and the Level Ball has a lot more red, I think. It's got some patterns on it, though, which I don't think would have looked good with the gold orb with cloud wings. Oh, hey, here's another wild gimme ghoul. We can get some pocket change out of this thing. And while, unfortunately, no Golden Go in the real playthrough itself, we can get pretty close to one in the post-game here, I guess. Because why not have a bit of an ancillary goal? I am still kind of considering bringing back either this game or Violet for just, like, occasional, you know, sort of chill weekend streams of shiny hunting and getting disappointed. Well, see, if I actually farmed them on my off days, I would definitely have it. But I didn't do that. And you might be asking why, and the answer is quite simply, I just kind of forgot. I'm not really that used to anymore the idea of games that are like that specifically reward you for playing every day or so. And I can't say as I'm a fan of the model anyway. I already got enough things competing for my attention, so do I need the help from Pokemon? The answer is no. Well, not a great position to be on there, but hey, it was worth jumping around like a complete goofball for that rare candy. Those things are still pretty handy. Alright, there's number 4. Map. Oh, this place really needs some more good fly spots. Let's go to Colonnade Hollow for this next one. Because I think this is going to... Yeah, be semi-close. Although we're definitely stretching the meanings of some word. Is that shiny? No, it isn't. You wouldn't attack it if it was shiny. Because for some reason, that's... Well, it's a very good thing they did it. It's just sometimes I'm shocked that they would do something that generous. Okay, I think the next stake is also at Colonnade Hollow. And in fact, actually inside of it, basically. Okay, right. It's past the bridge. I was like, up the cliff from here? No, it's past the bridge. Oh, there's a roaming Gabite. Heat Wave. That's pretty fun. It would be a hell of a lot more useful if there were more double battles, but I think I've basically talked about that part of my complaints and grievances with the franchise before. Oh, I gotta be on flat ground, actually. Map. Ah, there it is. See its yellow glow, and it's not a TM. That's a perfectly normal dirt-eating fella, right? Yeah. Because in the back of my head, I'm like, Larvitar shiny is just kind of yellow, right? Not even correct to call it gold. It's not that horrendous green that a lot of the shinies are, but it's in the same ballpark. And there's that Garchomp that kicked our ass earlier in the game. The one that was level 65. We would finally be able to capture it now, basically. Or even get it to obey us. Go back to the islet here, and there's a stake there, and I think the last one is right nearby. I believe it's the last one, assuming that I've done my calculations correctly. By near, I am stretching the definition a little bit, but take ourselves a bit of a diagonal here. Here. Oh, there's such silly noises. God, I remember the first time I encountered a wild Velusa, and it just sort of, like, jittered at me weirdly because it was lagging so badly. Whatever sort of condition it was in at the edge of the lakefront, it was not happy about it, that's for sure. Whatever sort of condition my condition was in. Yeah, I get these guys. They are worth not very much anymore, really, but hey. Get them anyway. A lot of them out here. Oh. Get that guy. That one was worth even less, which is kind of fair, actually. Ooh, a life orb. That is a very potent item that is, to be honest with you, mostly used for competitive purposes, but still. Also, we don't have any Pokemon with sheer force to truly take advantage of it. Put Garchomp in the lead because I think we are nearly to the point where we are ready to start dealing with these things. I actually think the rock I have to climb is... yeah, it's an island down here. By an island, I mean it is all the way in the main landmass there, but I digress. Bit of a waste of an experience candy, really. But at this point, I've got that and a rare candy. I should have used it first. I just forgot that meter was our health meter. Health meter, our experience meter. It's not our health meter, but I was expecting it to be for some reason. Even though we saw the health meters earlier. Well, whatever. And here we are. Should be number 8. And that would be the sound of the first of these Pokemon awakening. Well, thankfully we can fly there now because we visited it earlier. So we're going to save. And let's deal with this. Yep, open up the can. Which we apparently do this way. It just sort of explodes, I guess. And here we are, the first of the 4 Treasures of Ruin. There are 4 total. They each lower 1 stat when they, just by their presence on the field. And they're all part dark type. So Tinglu is ground dark. And the others, I will note their types as we get to them. Also, I forgot that Tinglu didn't lower physical attack, it lowered special attack. But that's okay. Because it's still like, probably the Pokemon to send out to deal with it, really. At least lead us off here. And now, put him to sleep. And hope we don't flinch, I guess. Yep, there we go. Now, the HP is pretty low, so I'm not even going to bother trying to chip harder. We are just going to go straight for trying to capture this thing. Unfortunately, I think the Nest Ball would probably be the nicest looking Pokeball, but it's got really bad odds. I'm doing it anyway, though, because my time isn't actually that valuable. Yet. Maybe one of these days. Oh, that was a waste of a turn, but I guess I was just predicting things going sideways there or something. Oh. Let's do that a smarter way here. Oh, it gave us 2 shakes, which is neat. Yeah, throat shot. Ow. Ow. I was going to say, we resist all of this thing's attacks at least. Unfortunately, the problem is that we're saying that from our defense stat of this Breloom has 0 investment in anything and is, like, what's that, 14 levels below, I believe? Because, yeah, Tinglu is at level... Yeah, 14. See, I remembered correctly. And yes, Ruination, there's its third move. Ruination is just a Dark-type Super Fang analog. Unfortunately, it is going to kill us with that Stomping Tantrum, but I can fix that in a second. And yeah, we just got hit by Ruination. I still have Scary Face on this thing and have for the entire game. I probably could have given it Rock Slide at some point if I had remembered to, but I did not. Hey, cool, we outsped it, so I guess we're speed tied. And it did get the instant wake up. That always sucks. And another instant wake up. I'm not enjoying that. Alright, well, if we can't catch this with a Pokeball that I think would fit it visually, well, we'll just have to try something else. Meanwhile, of course, Throat Chop does more damage because it is a thing that gets same type attack bonus for. Oh yeah, I slowed it down because of Gyarados. I already forgot. Whoops. Anybody who's thinking that, like, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I sure did forget that, didn't I? Boy, I hope someone got fired for that blunder. Switch to the Ultra Ball, I guess. You getting the damn ball already? I probably would still be doing this even if I had started from Ultra Balls, by the way. Everyone was thinking, oh, if you didn't waste all those 9 balls that weren't, that were of a different type because they were more aesthetically pleasing. Well, bad news, buddy. Damn it, it's another 3 shake and it just... That's gonna kill. Of course it is. Well, and we paralyzed instead. Fuck, man. This is the downside of this, is that Effect Spora has a chance to trigger and it will make you feel bad, basically. Oh well, I guess that means I don't have to bother with thinking about doing anything other than just throwing the balls. But eventually it works. There we go. Yep. Boy, I love trying to capture legendary Pokemon. It's never obnoxious or tedious or painful or anything. Well, no nicknames for the legendary Pokemon, because... Again, in my opinion, that's like, those are already characters of a sort, so... I don't personally like doing that, that's all. Alright, so now that we got our heads kicked in here, Let's go and heal. Then we get to check out the west area to go look for Jianpao. Thank you. I kind of forgot about that, actually. Great balls, koala berries, and irons. Iron butterfly. Wait a minute. This sounds like rock and or roll. Alright, so for a start, we're going out to near the Ice Wren Shrine set where we can go and get that location flagged on our ability to fly map here. Coin. Okay, yeah, that's off to the left of the mountain trail here. It's one of these things, a flabebe. Not really interested in fighting that. It's level 15. It's barely worth experience, to be honest with you. Okay, it's over the side, then. Let's fight this Haunter just for fun. Yeah, like I said, barely worth experience, but hey. Take it anyway. And yeah, see, I was correct. There's 4 things holding the chains in place here. Now, the first of the nails should be off to just over by Koskarafa, and then I'm going to have to start looking at these maps a little better to hash out the next few. Yeah, fine with the walls to get towards the back end of Koskarafa. Get Dragon Dance. Bump into this funny looking thing. Speaking of funny looking things, it's a very strange looking Skiddo over there that is actually a Numel. That it? That's like the same glow color as the... Yeah. Very much the same glow color as the wild Terra Pokemon. Good to know. So the location is about there, I believe. I guess, is this a... That's a Terra Pokemon, yeah, that's a much brighter amount of sparkles, but otherwise the right color. Like I was saying. And it's a Tinkatuff. Yep, literally right there. Excellent. Just take that. That is not a very easily tracked down location. God, I was never good at looking for stuff like this on maps. Okay, no, I found it. It's like right around the Dark Crew base. Yeah, pinned that to the location of the second squad camp. Yes, I think that was second squad. I'm sure none of you... I'm sure very few of you are paying attention, rather. Not none of you, but not a whole lot either. Okay, so from here it is basically just due south. Well, that's easy. Climb some stuff, but hey, whatever. That's nothing new. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm so glad I can do this when Koraidon can climb walls. I don't think it's even possible to do it before that. Not to complete it anyway. That's number 3 for the area. Yeah, over to that round thing, Steve. Assuming that I'm reading this correctly and it's not a different, but it seems rather unlikely. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I should probably pin those, but it's basically just here. Yeah, see, right there. Pillar right in the middle. Hey, gimme Ghoul. That's probably more important, actually. Give me your money. There we go. That's 4 out of 8 for this section. So next. About right there. Not very far, actually. Helpful. I can get past that, but nope. A little too much on the other side of the shoulder. Other side, in this case, being the inside of the shoulder, really, so... Yeah, and we pinned it almost exactly, so... There we go. Now there's, well, 3 more. As you've probably already guessed. Or candy, that's... Now I've got to take a look at this map and go... What are these locations trying to... Oh, we're there. We're 6. First of all, our bag. A little bit of distribution here. That's why that experience candy earlier was such a waste. But hey. Sometimes you just make bad decisions, that's all. Oh, right. This is in a cave, so that's underground somewhere. I think we can probably get in from down there. Hopefully. I guess it makes a not small amount of sense that these are hidden, so... Well, there's a cave entrance here. Let's take us to it. It does kind of look like it could. This, yeah, I was gonna say this looks about the right place. All right, 2 more to go. 2 more to go. There. So my guess, fly here and climb. It could be inside the mountain though, so... Oh, no, there it is. Okay, one last one, and then we can go deal with Jianpao. I get to take a look at that. Tap again and be like, hey, where that? Okay, I see where that is. There. Fly to Alf. And then just go east, basically. There we go. Yep. Next one is up. Air Shrine. There it is. Yes, the Ice Wrench Shrine is basically like right at the westernmost compass point on the thing. Turn you, actually. That's right. The start button doesn't... It's not the start button, but I don't know. I think it bothers me a little bit sometimes it doesn't work that way. Anyway. Let's do this. And here we go, Chien-Pao. It is an Ice Dark type, just like Sneasel and Weavile. And its Sword of Ruin ability weakens the defense of all other Pokemon. So this is something that can probably cause it some issues, but in return, we can cause it some issues as well. Probably. Should be able to drop its HP a good chunk. Yeah, there we go. It's down to like 3/4. It's not in the red, unfortunately. But yeah, Ice Dark is a very powerful offensive combination. Makes this thing a bit of a bastard, to put it mildly. Yeah, and especially because it is very fast. So it'll do shit like that to us sometimes, and we won't be terribly happy about it. However, I guess at least we can T-Wave it, and we can take advantage of that, I guess. Oh, yeah, why couldn't you have missed last turn with that? Come on. I don't have a whole lot of Premier Balls, which are what I would love to capture this thing in just for looks. But we'll give it a shot anyway. Plus, I mean, our odds of pulling it off are not high. It's only paralyzed as opposed to asleep or frozen, which would work on it because it's an ice type. It's still in yellow HP, technically. And also, we just have shit luck, so... anything with anything like this, yeah. Not gonna be an easy time. Ooh, ouch! That's quite a move you got there, buddy. Guess that looks kind of nice for it if end up in here for long enough to using the timer balls. This will be our fullest. Those of you who are confused as to why I'm not just chucking dusk balls, I believe they don't work at nighttime in this game anymore. It's only inside of caves. I think they actually like nerfed it at some, which is genuinely a huge shock. Oh no, apparently it does get the modifier even at nighttime still. So I mean, truth be told, go for it. I'm gonna run all of these out very quickly. They did, however, nerf Dusk Balls a little bit, starting in Gen 7. Probably what I was... Yeah, we've definitely been waiting around long enough for us to be able to get the full boost from Timer Ball. Do this. God! This is rough. And that actually did some good damage because of Jam-Pat's ability. Game. God damn it, man. Stop it. There we go. Took us a while. That finally gets us our second out of 4 treasures of ruin. Now, But take a look at the map, and it's the south area, basically. Well, first of all, let's get Grasswither Shrine on our map here. This is going. I heard him. I heard the gimme. Cool. That. Gotta be near. There it is. Yeah. Shellos was kind of blocking it a little bit, but it moved just enough. So before I drop down, I do application. I know for that take number 1. It's the 8th one on this list. So hey, starting from the end point, that's kind of fun. More importantly, here's Grasswither Shrine down here. Got to say text-wise. See. It informs us of which of the Pokemon. A certain way, anyway. Nice, another rare candy. Always good. Now, unfortunately, we can't spore this next Pokemon because it's grass type. I'll spoil that in advance. So ultimately, this Breloom hasn't done shit for us. This has been kind of a waste of time and effort. Stuff. Oh well. It seemed like a good idea on paper, but hey. I'm trying to make sense of it. Not very well drawn. It's drawn just fine. Shape sucks. There it is. I see. Alright, so right about there. Fly to Los Platos, because that's kind of faster. Surely it's, like, right by the water. Yeah. It's covered up on the map. Icons. I heard it. Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew there was one around here, so that at least did not disappoint. Let's... back up slightly. Slightly. I said slightly. Cross it this way. Okay, there's number 3. 5 more of these to go. Up Spiral Mountain here. It's like. That Litleo. Not to be confused with Litten. I keep wanting to call them by the same name, but obviously they are not the same group at all. Yep, and hey, there's a Gimme Ghoul up here too. First, let me get through this dialogue, because that'll get us to stake number 4. How many are we at, just out of curiosity? Are we even at 900 yet? Probably not. 859, yeah, like I said, not yet. Alright, number 5. Get some more coins. That is pretty easy to find as well, in terms of getting anyway. Alright, number 6. More to go, and we can go deal with Wo-Chien. And... direction we gotta go. Gently no time, but I was open. Coin. Worth 4. Nice. I feel like those numbers have ramped up a little bit. Of course, requiring you to get 999 is still kind of a pain in the ass, but okay. Down in the valley here. There's a dig TM if you need it. I'm up this way, and... Yep. Right on this little green ledge here. Only one more to go. Spot of the map that has some recognized... Focus on. Get there, we just climb up, and then are done. Double checking the sign to see if they give me good there anyway. Now, before we do any of that, I was going to say just make sure you're up. Gauss up at the front, and grass where the shrub is. This. Now comes Wo-Chien. The Pokemon that is infamous for being kind of disappointing in terms of its power level. Because it's got a really cool sounding ability on paper. Tablets of Ruin, weakening all physically oriented Pokemon nearby. That's kind of nice, right? Unfortunately, it also has the extremely disappointing Grass Dark type. Which, if you're using this in a competitive setting, that means that it has twice the weakness to everybody's favorite U-Turn, a very widely used move. So that all kind of adds up to the weird dog snail not really being all that actually good. Also because there already are ways to debuff opponents' attack with abilities. So that becomes a hell of a lot less impressive when you think about that. Anyway, we're just going to chuck Ultra Balls and see how we go here. Because remember, I paralyzed it because I could not put it to sleep. Because it's Grass type. So it's immune to Spore, because Spore is a powder move. Because they decided to add that at one point, just to make things really confusing. Oh, that's annoying. Well, I guess at bare minimum, we can try to false swipe it down a little bit. I mean, we're going to do like 1 damage to it, but hey. God, that's a lot of HP back considering... Alright, let's go for a Mach Punch. I'm feeling confident because of the attack debuff and the level advantage, or the level advantage that Wojian has, not our level advantage because we don't have a level advantage. But Wojian is higher level than us by a good chunk. Yeah, I figured it would be fine. Also, no investment, so, like, even more so. Traits. These things have got to have really shit catch. Let's find out how shit. 6. I hate catching legendary Pokemon in general. You know what? I'm going to hit it with Waterfall. No, I'm going to hit it with Crunch instead, because that'll do less damage. I'd like to try to avoid killing this as much as possible. Fine, I'll throw timer balls. I gotta remember to, like, restock these, because... Oh, boy. It's really starting to... The problem. And, yeah, that's that thing dead. Well... course. And it heals back a good chunk every time. Like, an amount that's like a bit of an issue. Station. This is technically the weaker here. It also caused a defense drop, which is a little bit concerning, but... Well, we're trying. We're trying. We're having our patience tried, that's for fucking sure. About goddamn time. Legendary captures suck. A lot. Yeah, once again, no nickname for a legendary. As we've got only one more to go after this, but before we do that, well, first of all, find the closest flight location to Fire Scourge Shrine, which is up here. And there should be a a shop here. I don't know if they're going to sell any of the, like, good Pokeballs, but we'll be able to find out at least. Have you got any of what I actually need here? You got what I need. Oh, I'm going to just grab 50 of these things, because knowing my luck, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hear a gimme ghoul around here. Oh, oops. Bumped into that Phalanx. That's not my intention, but I will take the experience points. One of my favorite Pokemon, just a very goofy animation that it does. Very, very silly. A lot of the Gen 8 Pokemon were really good. I actually think the average quality of Pokemon designs has gone up since the move to 3D. I just don't think the games have necessarily always kept up with that in terms of all the quality and stuff. And with how well this game performs, I can't even finish that sentence in a serious manner. But I mean, are you surprised that that would alter my expectations more than a little bit? Because you shouldn't be. Absolutely should not be. And we grab a waterfall TM, which I guess we already had one of those TMs? I don't remember finding one of those before. Whatever. This is the most populated by a wide margin of entry hatches for any of the shrines. Magnezone, come in here and clean up while I take a quick step around. And I guess get hassled by these bats a little bit. That one just sort of drops into the ground. Oh, wasn't that funny? You know what? Deal with a couple of Noiverns, because they've got to be worth at least a little something. Noirbats might have some value too. But that depends entirely on how important those parts are, because experience-wise, yeah, no. Anyway. So, Chi-Yu, I guess, would technically be considered to be sort of on the east side of the map, but realistically, no, because it's just going to be like northeast, I think. Anyway, now I get to squint at more parts of the map and go, where the hell is it? At least this first one is like near Glaciato, so that should be ish to locate. Although finding a good place to go to get there, maybe not so much. But we'll fly here. You have a horde spot for Indy. If we want to deal with that any, I don't really think that it's particularly our bag, but hey. We're going to need something to do after we fix this, because it shouldn't take us 50 minutes. Grab the last of these. Here, fight that. Yeah, it's a wild Brambleghast. That is something that, like, I felt like I'd seen it before, but I also thought maybe I could have been hallucinating because I hadn't seen it more than once. I definitely feel like I've seen wild Pawmots, though. Rabska, however, is kind of the outlier there. I don't think I've ever seen a wild Rabska. Again, grades notwithstanding, because those don't really count. Psychic Fangs. That is a pretty good move that usually has a bit of limited distribution. If I recall correctly. I think it might be 85 power. Plus it has a Brick Break effect, I believe. So, I like that. On paper, anyway. I actually want to double check that and see if I'm correct. Oh, I might have to do a lot of digging here to get there. There it is, Psychic Fangs. Yeah, 85 power. And it does a Brick Break effect. Pretty good, all considered. Although I guess back when it came out, it was the signature move of Bruxish, so you had to deal with it in that case. Rock in the middle. Nice. Pick up the Gimme Cool. Right by the... And it's basically due almost straight east and just a little north. It's like... Alright, number 3. I'll be skipping number 4 in the order because it's right next to the shrine and I didn't see it immediately at the time, but I can just get back to that when I need to. Gotcha. There. Actually, perhaps we will go pick up the one that's right next to mine right now, because it looks like all we got to do is just fly there, and that's the closest fly spot to the other place. Okay. Alright, and that's 4. Now for number 5. Oh, hi, Arcanine. And it's associated Growlithe, I suppose. Growlithe. I love to just choke on names like that. That's always non-concerning, I swear. Here we are. Here's our location, and it is in among the ruins. There's a Gimme Ghoul near here that I can hear. Possibly multiple. Find those in a second. There's one. Double checking to make sure it's... Oh, I heard multiple of the sounds stacking. Oh, and there's big Revard. We don't really fight that thing. I heard it off to the left. Right. There it is. Okay. Well, now that I've finished off my little side quest there. Back of the map, and... this is near Levitia. And it's due a little bit northwest of this lighthouse. I do truly mean just a little bit. Oh. Pokemon hadn't all popped in yet. Or for some reason we encountered that thing despite the fact that we were miles off. That's weird. So I pressed the A button and it... something like that. I just wanted the TM. That puts us with only 2 more to go. Damn, his Solar Beam. Wasn't even worth it. Eesh. How to try to figure out, because the last one is down along the lower edge of Glaciato Mountain. And this one is somewhere. Oh, it's in Thatcher's Thicket. That's... I'd love to go there. That's everybody's favorite part of the map. Because it performs so well. Has no problems or anything. Foliage effects aren't hilariously taxing or... no. They never cause any problems for graphics in computer games. From attempting to render them to go a little too hard on rendering them. Oops. Accidentally bumped that thing with my toe. Not very interested in you, Focus. I'd say I'm sorry, but I don't really. I am. Left and climb the wall. at the corner of this little, like, wishbone-shaped pathway. Now, last but remarkably far from around this spot here, in a location that told doesn't really have a very close fly point. So then we're going to go to Dalizapa Passage, and we're going to use that because that's kind of our closest thing to a good bet that we actually have. And then it's not particularly close. Not in that regard. And that weird shape of the map there was taking me a minute to get around properly. Fire spin. Neat. And here we are, the last stake. We can stop thinking about where these locations are and move on with our... Only part of the way, though, because... a little... Still gotta deal with actually capturing the Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, before I do that, let me save real quick. Here we go, Chi-Yu, the last of them. This one is Dark Fire. Its ability lowers special defense. And basically all of this just kind of adds up to make this thing very problematic for us. On a lot of levels. I really should have just tried to throw a quick ball and see if it would do anything, but... I mean, that's like a 10% chance of it working, so... I'm not getting those odds. Billy. Right, switching in thoroughly seems to probably be a thing that might work for us. I hope it doesn't just spam Swagger, because that would be bad. In this case... Yeah, okay, go ahead and use Lava Plume. That's fine. Because then we can just chunk this thing with Crunch. It's using Bounce. Alright. On that case, I can burn a PP real quick. Yeah, one more hit should put us into a safe distance. Yeah, okay, it's down to red health. So that means that it can just do whatever the hell it pleases. And none of it really matters too much to us. You know what? Sure, I'm gonna go with throwing some regular. We got it in one. Okay. Well, that was completely unexpected. Not that I'm gonna complain, but completely unexpected anyway. So, yeah, got all the treasures of ruin. Nice. I don't recall if Ryfort has any sort of reward for us doing that. I guess let's go find out. I was gonna say, is she not in here? Go back to the teacher's lounge or something. It's definitely something, all right. Sort of moots. I mean, it definitely... It looks like the sword chunks are pushed up through Qianpao's upper jaw, so, like... Yeah. Oqian, yeah, it's a... It's a lot of... tablets. Maybe it was the king's attempt at a death note. Lastly, we got Chiyu. It's a goldfish. Well, yeah, I mean, we've managed to pull off something that's kind of a surprise, I guess. And we get the TM for Nasty Plot. Again, all kind of, like I said, Ryfort has this sort of, like, menacing air to her a little bit of, like, she's definitely up to some shit, but it's kind of hard to say for sure what that is. But hey, we did it. We completed a quest line. Wow, there's a bunch of other stuff we could probably do. I don't like it, but honestly, that is going to be the last major thing that we do in this game for the time being. There is technically a possibility that I might come back and do more of the like side questy stuff, it's just not super likely. And if I do, I mean, it's more likely to be a bonus stream or anything like that. Or perhaps I'll just do a couple more streams where it's like, okay, I'm looking for shinies. That would probably be with the other cartridge. Because that has access to more stuff. Because that's the actual DLC attached to it. My relative to... Oh, I'm way north of that. Yeah, I don't have a shiny Rufflet. There's Espathra and the unevolved form of it as hordes as well. I do like that Pokemon quite a bit, but I actually already have a shiny Espathra on my other cartridge. So, that's why I'm not bothering. Doesn't feel very worth it. These things I'll gladly go after, also over here. Goals to respawn here. Oh, hi, Orthworm. You're definitely not shiny, otherwise there'd be more going on with you. I would assume that shiny would not be the red parts would be colored. And not just some other random texture. You know, Goofy, the pattern that guy is taking. Yeah, Orthworm's got kind of a slightly dull cyan color for its, in place of all the red parts for its shiny, it looks like. Like, just slightly desaturated from being pink. Judging by this preview, for all I know, it could be completely different. Hey, look at all these eagles hanging out. Baby eagles. Oh yeah, I did want to check about the thing in Area 0 about checking the time of day using just the thing, the phone menu. Right now there are some rufflets in this area, an outbreak of rufflets, so I'm picking at those. Because we already got all the 4 treasures of ruin, which means that I got what I wanted today, so that's fine. Hell with it. I will pad out the stream a little bit with a little bit of shiny hunting. Now, granted, I probably should be doing this, like I said, possibly on a different game because I have better shiny odds on those from having a complete Pokedex on Violet, and because I did the same in the DLC, but hey. I am not, because I don't have the parts required for that. I don't have any of the Herba Mystica, because I haven't, I don't even think I've unlocked 6-star raids on this. But also, I don't like the raid battle mechanics in Scarlet Violet. I think they are a little bit too janky. And having all the actions be real-time based was probably a bad idea. Well, I'm also not at that point yet either, because I haven't been playing this copy of the game for this long. Probably like a total of about 30 hours or something. Actually, I might be able to check that, right? Apparently not as easily as I thought, unless it's somewhere hidden in the option. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't really look quite like as much of that as I thought. But also, there just kind of comes down to the part of, like, I don't like doing them. Because I've said, I think that the raid mechanics were not handled well in this game. They were much better in Gen 8. Which I know that saying, wow, something was better in Sword and Shield than in this game, in these games. I mean, these games are actually fine, other than the fact that they're kind of held together very loosely. But in any case, like I said, let me go and check out that Area 0 thing first. So that way I don't forget. Oh, also, I should show something off that I think might be a little bit on the lesser known side. Possibly. I'm not completely certain if this is common knowledge or not, but we're going to climb all the way up the wall of the Great Crater here. If you try to do this earlier in the game, it will basically just warp you back to where you dropped from. But now that we've actually explored Area 0, we can just jump into the... we can first of all go see what... it's Scarchomp. I don't care about that. We can just sort of jump into the Great Crater and... Wait for it. Wait for it. It's a long fall. Yeah, it just warps you into Area 0. I think I tried to do this in the game before I had actually unlocked Area 0, and it didn't work. So I didn't bother to try it until I randomly saw information that said otherwise. And then I was like, I gotta see this. And it turns out that, yeah, this actually works. So that's pretty cool, I think. But yes, I did in fact get sidetracked from what I was doing before. Come in here and go pick up items. be fair, it might be necessary to do such. Also, I get to see where this hole goes, because I don't remember offhand. It's just... Oh, this is just the Chansey Cave. Okay. Oh, hey, there's another one in the distance. Well, for my part, I should be able to just body press these fellas. And the other one disappeared. They like doing that a lot. Oh no, that's not the same Chansey, is it? But yeah, I was gonna check time of day using this, right? Yeah, it says that it's daylight. I guess I'd have to find a lichen rock to confirm. But I think it's probably trustworthy at this point. Presumably. That Flamigo runs at you like it's the Goose from Untitled Goose Game a little bit. Or at least one of the animations that I've seen of it. I guess both of them will kick your ass if you give them a chance. I know that's true of like any goose, but it's that one specifically I remember animating like that, where like the way of it just like running and plunging forward and flapping and squawking and making all kind of hell noise at you. I have never angered a goose in my entire life that I'm aware of, so you know, perhaps it's understandable that I don't necessarily know what that looks like IRL. But of course, that's also a very bad idea to anger a goose, so like... Okay, well, it's just using Hone Claws, so that's a waste of time for it. Put down the control. 1 second here. There's a wild Glimmet. I think that literally only see those in the wild. I don't think any trainers have a Glimmet. I don't recall, though. One second. That was just a warning about bad weather. It's alright, you're done here anyway, so it's fine. You'll be able to deal with those, right? Stops, and yeah. That'll fix the issue. What that thing? That. And yeah, back outside we go. That's enough for now. Yeah, I said this wasn't really a high value one to me, but also let's try anyway. We're here. Already very nearby, we may as well. Where'd you go? Yep. Gauss just went kind of nowhere. Vaguely entered existence and then left. Thing walked into us. Honestly, the way this auto battle behaves sometimes, that might have been the faster method, so. All right, let's head back to the desert for one final sweep of the baby eagles. Let's see if we can happen. But oh. Okay, just a cactus ambling there. As occasionally happens. Cacturn is... I wish it wasn't so shinily textured in this, because that doesn't really... very sensible, but hey. Yeah, like I keep saying, this Let's Go mode, super janky, but gets us anywhere with this, why not? To be honest with you, I don't even know what this shiny looks like, so I'm not what I'm looking for. But hey, probably getting a little bit uninteresting anyway. I haven't had much to say. Let's wrap it up, because we're about to get mobbed, I guess. Oh, I unpaused and I wasn't. Wow.